What's up, everybody? This is Smooth J Gaming here, and I'm back at you with another video of our Madden 23 challenge. We took all the best players in the history of the NFL, made a fantasy draft, but the one kicker was us as the Jaguars. We couldn't take any player that was 80 overall or better. Our team is loaded up with young guns like Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, Jameson Williams, Drake London. And we got lots of ballers on defense as well. And we're taking on a team that we've already played, the Colts. They're led by Cam Newton, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian McCaffrey, and Le'Veon Bell on offense. A dangerous team. But we start off with a great play on third down. Get the ball back. Travis Etienne has lots of room on the stretch play for a big gain. Keep trying to move this ball down the field. Going long to KJ Hamler. Overthrow by Trevor Lawrence. Big interception by Whitfield Jr. And there they get their run game going. Christian McCaffrey and Le'Veon Bell together is a dangerous 1-2 punch. And Christian McCaffrey has lots of space. Huge hit, though, by Cine. Ball's out, and the Jags pick it up. That's one way to stop their offense. Huge hit right there. We needed that. They were running the ball down our throats. Get a big turnover here. And on the next play, we hit Jameson Williams for a big touchdown. He's got that speed, and we need to use it. 7-0 up on the Colts to start this game. But it's hard to hold this offense down. Cam Newton scrambling. And a big interception. Horrible decision by Cam. He didn't quite get the ball out of bounds. And Kyle Hamilton brings it to the end zone for the pick six. Everything is looking up for the Jags in the first quarter of this one. Going long, hit while I'm thrown by Trevor Lawrence. And it looks like J.C. Horn with the interception. Is anyone going to get him before he gets to the end zone? Yes, big tackle by the O-line. And in the red zone, Christian McCaffrey takes a big hit, but it knocks him into the end zone. Colts are making it a lot closer now. Go for the screen pass to Drake London. Great blocking. Some good shiftiness to get the first down. Now we're on 3rd and 9. Thought he had that one, but a big hit jars the ball loose. Colts get the ball back and are charging down our field now. Missed the sack there. And it ended up working out for us. Sauce Gardner with the huge interception, showing those amazing ball skills that he has. He's had a great season so far. Been the clear #1 DB on this team. Etienne got the ball knocked out. And they return it for a touchdown. That was close, though. I'm not sure if they're going to call that one back. The booth is reviewing it. That one's tough. See, looks like he was down, though. See if we get bailed out here. And we do. Still 14-7. Looked like it was open. Great close on the DB there to make a play. And that's the second time we've gone to Jameson Williams, and it's ended up being a pick. Great play there by Farley, reading that play, making it look like it was open until the last second, and another defensive touchdown. This Jaguars defense is as opportunistic as they come, constantly making big plays and constantly getting gashed for big yards as well. Another interception by Kyle Hamilton, his second of the game. This time he doesn't score, but still gets a nice return. If the Jags play like this every game, we got a playoff team on our hands. And again, that crossing route to Jameson Williams. Bad call. And here goes Christian McCaffrey on the screen. Just fumbles and bumbles his way to the first down. Larry Fitzgerald, legendary receiver, catching a seam route over the middle. 4th down, we shut them out here. Keep up that 14-point lead. And then finally, we hit Jameson Williams coming across the field. We got 4th and goal here. Trevor Lawrence is making a run for it. Bad call. The pocket collapsed on him. And we got them stuck in their end zone now. And Kyle Hamilton with his third interception of the game read the quarterback's mind there. 2 defensive touchdowns on the day for Hamilton. This secondary we have is making plays, but you can't hold Larry Fitzgerald down for the whole game. Circus catch, stayed on his feet, and went for the touchdown. That's that last first down that we needed. Killed the rest of the clock. And there we go. Big win against a division rival, 28-14. And the offense didn't do too much of anything. We can thank the defense and specifically Kyle Hamilton with 3 interceptions on the day. Clearly the MVP of this game. And the Jaguars get a much-needed win. Trevor Lawrence only had about 130 yards on the day. That's not going to get him boosted up into that upper echelon of quarterbacks. We got to have some better games with him. We're 2-4 so far. Not the best start, but considering the talent pool that we have to play against, not bad. Next, we have the New York Football Giants. They're 5-1, so let's see what kind of roster we have to deal with here. First things first, we're going to make a move in free agency. We need a kicker punt returner, and we got Dante Hall available for us. Legendary Kansas City Chief, one of the shiftiest players in the history of the NFL, and maybe one of the best runs as a kicker and punt returner that I've ever seen in my lifetime. Started off in week 2, going through the Steelers like it's nothing. The next week, doing the same thing against the Houston Texans. And a lot of these plays were not just first quarter plays or adding to a big lead. You check this situation, 5 minutes left, fourth quarter tie game. When you really need a play, Dante Hall was making these plays for the Chiefs game in and game out. 6 return touchdowns in 9 games. He was literally an MVP candidate as a kick and punt returner. It was insane. The next week against Denver, another fourth quarter game. This time they're down by 6 though. This is what we need on the Jaguars here. We need a player that can score at any given moment and can lift up our offense if it's ever stalling. Dante Hall, 2003 version of him, was maybe the most dangerous returner that I've ever seen in my lifetime. Devin Hester is really close as well, but this season was just magical. There he goes again, week 10, and then it didn't stop in the playoffs. A huge return against the Colts in the divisional round, and that was one of only 2 touchdowns that he had in the game. So it wasn't like he just had one good play. 227 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. We get that 2003 version of Dante Hall on our team, and we're going to see if he can't make a big difference for us. Officially signed that contract. $3 million sounds like a great deal for a player of his caliber. And there he is. It's official. Welcome to the Jags, Dante Hall. We need about 6 touchdowns out of you this year if we want a chance at making the playoffs. Let's check out who we have to go against with this Giants team. They're 5-1, so they should be pretty good. At quarterback, we got Bart Starr of the legendary Vince Lombardi-era Packers. 4 times he was All-Pro, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, one of the best quarterbacks of the 1960s. A great arm for his era. It's a little bit tough to compare quarterbacks to 2022 because the game was a lot different. But this play illustrates everything great about Bart Starr. NFL title game, winner goes to the very first Super Bowl. Perfect throw. The Cowboys player takes a cheap shot on the Packers. Number 31, Jim Taylor, is one of the most hot-headed star players of that era. He's looking for all the smoke after that cheap shot, and Bart Starr makes sure he doesn't take a penalty, doesn't get ejected, gets him safely to the sideline so they can focus on winning the game. That kind of leadership is invaluable, and if you're a 50s player all the way to 2022, having a guy like that at quarterback is a huge asset. And you also can't forget his famous QB sneak in the frozen tundra game. At backup, we have Joe Burrow, another great quarterback. At running back, we have to go against John Riggins, a Redskin great, and Najee Harris, 2 great power backs. Tom Rathman at fullback. And at receiver, we're going against Calvin Johnson, Megatron, one of the great nicknames in NFL history, in my opinion. An amazing red zone threat. You can go back shoulder, You can just throw it up and he has a 45-inch vertical. You can go to the back pylon. He's coming down with it. You can throw it low and inside in double coverage. A quarterback's dream. Anywhere you want to put the ball, you can even throw it 5 yards short and let him drag people to the end zone. Have you ever seen this coverage in the red zone since Calvin Johnson? And he's not just a red zone threat. Was one of the fastest players of his era. You are not catching him if he pulls away on a slant. He was also an amazing route runner regardless of size, but considering how big he was, to move like this, it was just unfair for defensive backs in that era. How many 6'5" guys are making DBs fall on comeback routes? Amazing hands on the sideline. Made circus catch after circus catch for Matthew Stafford, and the coordination to keep his feet in like this, unheard of for someone his size. And you can't forget his ability after the catch as well, just using DBs like speed bumps, shucking them away like they're nothing and continuing on to the end zone. Had to be one of the hardest receivers to tackle one-on-one in NFL history. Also, pass interference didn't matter to him. He'd always fight back and seem to make these insane catches. Double coverage didn't matter to him. That's just two people that are getting mossed on one play. Hell, why don't you throw three people at him and see what happens? It still makes no difference. Calvin Johnson was a big-bodied, insanely athletic, humble, hardworking, play through injuries, never drop passes, never bitch about his bad team, never showing up at a shape to training camp, never demanding a trade. Calvin Johnson was as close to a perfect player as I've ever seen. And my team, the Detroit Lions, totally did him wrong by making him give back his signing bonus once he retired early. At tight end, we got to go against Jimmy Graham. Him and Calvin are just two of the most difficult guys in jump ball situations to deal with. Jimmy Graham was a college basketball player first at the University of Miami, just an absolute monster, had incredible hands, would come down with these insane circus catches with one hand. Here's him against the Niners in the playoffs, making a difficult catch and then using that athleticism to keep going. Jimmy Graham was different. He had so many injuries that held him down. He was very rarely healthy, but a healthy Jimmy Graham in his prime, especially when he had Drew Brees throwing the ball to him, was a sight to see. One of those kind of tight ends that you just can't stop. And who can forget his very famous dunking on the goalposts? I can't think of anything more disrespectful to do when you're at someone else's stadium than dunk the ball so hard that you break the goalpost. Jimmy Graham was awesome. We're going to have our hands full. Chris Cooley is another great tight end. Ronnie Stanley, great Raven. Jeff Saturday, Peyton Manning center in Indianapolis. Pretty good offensive line. Eric Armstead, Greg Townsend rounding out the defensive line. And then we got Ed Too Tall Jones, legendary Cowboys pass rusher. He was the first pick for them in 1974, was an All-Pro, was a Super Bowl champion, and was even a professional boxer for a little time in the middle of his career. At 6'9" and having great athleticism, he was able to bat balls and straight up get after the quarterback. Ed Too Tall Jones looks like you could transplant him right into 2022 and he would look like a lot of the defensive ends that we see today. Our offensive line and Trevor Lawrence are going to have to be on alert, making sure they locate Ed Too Tall Jones, make sure he stays out of our backfield and isn't able to bat a bunch of balls. It's going to be a tough night for us. We got Jack Ham at linebacker, a Steelers great. Demario Davis is a great current player. And then it gets real for us. Derrick Thomas, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Probably the quickest first step out of any pass rusher in NFL history. A legend for the Kansas City Chiefs. This man had 7 sacks in one game. That would be a solid season for a lot of starters in the NFL. Derrick Thomas used a combination of incredible quickness and agility, some underrated power on his bull rush. I mean, how many left tackles are going to be able to keep up with that kind of movement? Derrick Thomas gave fits to tackles all across the league, and we never even got to see the end of his career as he unfortunately passed away in a car accident while he was still playing. At corner, we have to go against another Packers legend, Herb Adderley, cornerback. He was 5 times first-team All-Pro, two-time Super Bowl champion. He had good size at corner for today's standards, 6 feet, 205 pounds. So you know he was a cheat code for Vince Lombardi's Packers in the 60s. Was great at baiting quarterbacks to make throws that looked open when they weren't, and was also great after the catch of interceptions. He had a lot of returns for touchdowns. Also, if you play in the 60s, you got to strap up and make tackles, and he was definitely not afraid of contact. Adderley was a great player. We got Marshon Lattimore on the other side. Some dangerous people in the secondary, that's for sure. We got to watch out. If you see a guy on the secondary with one bar across his helmet, maybe we'll try to avoid him this game. We got a home game this time. This Giants team is 5-1. This could be a tough game. There's Bart Starr right there. Love the old school helmets. I can't believe that they played like that. The biggest worry in my mind is Calvin Johnson. We got to make sure that we keep him in check. As a Lions fan, I know the kind of damage that he can cause. Bart Starr's driving down the field to start the game, and there we go. He finds Calvin Johnson right there. Get the first down. They're in the red zone now. Nice throw to Calvin Johnson, the red zone threat for an easy touchdown. And here we go. Jameson Williams almost squeaks through there for a big gain. Still a nice little first down. And then here comes John Riggins trucking along. We got to make sure that we gang tackle him. Big interception by Isaiah Simmons. I love having that athleticism in the middle of the field. It's only 7-0 against a great team. Nice throw right there to Uzuma. Another wide open throw to Jameson Williams. The juke works, but he ends up getting tackled anyways. Heading to the end of the first half here, trying to get a touchdown before the half. And a bad decision. I told you, don't throw at the guy with the old school face mask. Adderley with a nice interception there. Fourth down, I go for it foolishly. Shank of a throw. But Cine bails us out with a nice interception here. Still only 7-0. We're in this game. Horrible miss by Trevor Lawrence. And Marshon Lattimore makes us pay. And he gets in the end zone too. 14-0. Our offense has not been able to get going in this game at all. And just to make matters worse, we get stripped right there. Our offense cannot get anything going in this game. We're only down 2 touchdowns, but we're having such a hard time moving the ball. Here comes Bart Starr. Dangerous throw, but it works out for them. Hits Rathman, a great fullback. And then a wide open touchdown. Irving Fryer, old school player for the Browns. And there goes Trevor Lawrence trying to make something happen here. Nice completion. Going deep. And a great catch by KJ Hamler. Finally, we're moving the ball, but it might be too little too late. Good defensive play there to stop Jameson Williams from getting in the end zone. And here comes John Riggins. One guy is not enough to take him down. Here he goes again. John Riggins is a tough man to bring down. One of the great power backs of all time. And here comes Jameson Williams. Making a great catch. Great throw by Trevor Lawrence. And ETN gets into the end zone to keep us from getting the goose egg. Not going to get shut out, but we didn't do too much else. An easy win for the New York Giants. They go to 6-1, 28-7. Gave us a nice whipping in that game. We're moving on to next week. Nothing else to say about this game. See who we have next. We're going to be taking on the Broncos. They're 1-6. Maybe we have a chance in this one. Let's see who's on the roster. I see Peyton Manning there already, an actual Denver Bronco. And there he is, the Sheriff, 14-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first-team All-Pro, 5 MVPs. Yes, that's right, 5 league MVPs. Maybe the best regular season quarterback of all time. An absolute cannon for an arm. And who can forget one of the smartest minds to ever play football. Him on the field is like having a genius coach calling the plays in real time, reading the defense. Famous for his audibles, Omaha. And Peyton Manning is one of those kind of quarterbacks where if you're in a bad defense, he's going to find the perfect play for it, and he's also going to execute that play as well. Was not afraid to go down the field, hence why he had quite a few interceptions, but it's also why he threw so many touchdown passes. He had a very serious neck injury towards the end of his career. The Colts shipped him off to Denver, and a Peyton Manning with 60% of the same arm strength he had was still good enough to win a league MVP. Such an amazing talent and with such a great second act in his career. He always had the rep of being a bit of a choke artist in the playoffs, playing in bad weather games against the Patriots, but he did get 2 Super Bowl rings. My favorite Peyton Manning story was that he had his basement renovated to look exactly like the Colts film room. That's the kind of dedication that he had to being great. Edgerrin James, his Colts running back, is going to be in the backfield with him again. And at receiver, I don't think he's ever had a receiver like this. Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne are incredible, but he has DeAndre Hopkins right now. 5-time All-Pro, was on the Texans and is now on the Cardinals thanks to Bill O'Brien being a moron. DeAndre Hopkins, a receiver that has maybe the best hands in the NFL currently, makes one-handed catches with ease, never really drops the ball. I remember this catch, it didn't count, but one of the craziest catches that I've ever seen in my life. He's so good at using his body to outmuscle the defenders and come down with the ball. Not the type of receiver that's going to be open by 5 yards all the time, but somebody who is always open enough to come down with the ball. He's so good at boxing out defenders, making sure that the ball is his in any 50-50 chance. And what a catch he had against the Steelers. DeAndre Hopkins is incredible. Hines Ward as well. What a tough slot receiver to have on your team. Kellen Winslow at tight end. One of the first do-it-all tight ends that can block, catch passes, had speed, had height. Just an incredible player. One of the best playoff performances of all time against the Dolphins was catching passes, breaking tackles left and right, giving up his body blocking for the running backs and other receivers, and he even blocked an attempted game-winning field goal, putting them over the edge. Probably the best playoff performance of all time. This iconic shot of him after giving his all and leaving it all on the field, that's the type of player that you want on your team. Him and Peyton Manning are going to be unfair together. The offensive line, they have Zach Martin there, but not a great line. Chris Dolman, Akeem Hicks. Pretty solid defensive line. They got Max Crosby. And in the middle, one of the hardest men of all time, Chuck Bednarik. Was an Iron Man player, played center and middle linebacker, 10-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time NFL champion, and one of the most famous hits in NFL history. He took Frank Gifford, the league's poster boy, and sent him off on the stretcher in the NFL championship. Bednarik had to work a full-time job while playing in the NFL, one of the pioneers of the sport, and deserves all of our utmost respect. At corner, we have Jair Alexander, Justin Simmons at free safety, and at strong safety, we have John Lynch. He actually played for the Broncos as well as the Bucs. One of the most dangerous hitters in the history of the NFL from the safety position, and anybody could get it. This hit right here is on his childhood best friend and brother-in-law. Knocks him out cold, brushes himself off, and couldn't care less going back to the huddle. John Lynch was a different type of animal. When you see people that hit like this, your first assumption is that they're taking dumb penalties, messing up on their assignments, and just running around like a maniac trying to make tackles. That's what made John Lynch different. He was so fundamentally sound, so smart on the field, yet when the time arose for it, he could flip the switch and turn into a killer on the field. Also, not bad in center field, making interceptions as well. He was a part of a Bucs defense that had Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks, and him. They were incredible together. This defense is not looking too great. We got some big hitters to worry about, Bednarik and John Lynch. We, of course, got to worry about Peyton Manning. Make sure we don't let DeAndre Hopkins go too crazy on us. These guys are 1-6. We really do have a chance to win this game. Let's see what Trevor Lawrence can do. Starting off with Peyton Manning. Nice completion to Kellen Winslow there. They're moving the ball on us so far on this first drive pretty easy. There goes Kellen Winslow again. And Kyle Hamilton with the huge hit. Cine picks up the loose ball, and he's got nothing but green space in front of him. Edgerrin James trying to catch up, but he's not going to get there. Big play by our defense. We really need a big game here. Looks like this game is in London, England. Pretty cool. A nice throw by Peyton, hitting Deandre Hopkins, breaking a couple tackles. Good thing we stopped that from being a touchdown there, honestly. They're moving the ball, 1st and 10. Edgerrin James on the carry, great blocking, and horrible tackling, but a nice hit by Cine there. They're right on the goal line now, and Edgerrin James just powers his way through our defense for the touchdown. He was a great running back. They get the ball back here, going deep. And a great play by Stokes there. We needed that play. Trying to find some space anywhere. See if I can get the edge here. Here we go. Not a bad return at all. ETN's got space here. Missed block by the receiver, but we still get a nice gain. 7-7. First half is dwindling down. We're going to try to get some points here. 4th down conversion. We needed that one. 30 seconds left. For some reason, I go for a running play. Bednarik picks up the ball, making his presence felt in this game. Huge touchdown. That's a 14-point swing right there. 14-7 going into the half. And another big hit there. That one looked like, I don't even know who made that hit. That was a big one. Going deep to Drake London. And a bailout pass interference call. We'll take it. Saving us on that drive. 3rd down here. Nice throw by Trevor Lawrence. Completing that, getting the 1st down. Heading into the 4th quarter. We're only down by 7 here. 4th down. Another fumble. Another bad choice to run the ball. We're giving this game away, and there goes Edgerrin James. Another big gain. Our defensive line is getting destroyed in this game so far. Don't know who that throw was to. Easy interception. And that's right. Commentator said that should do it. That probably will be the end of the game for us here. Here they go. Cam Akers, final nail in the coffin. 2 straight really bad performances by the Jags. Here's the last play of the game. Try to get some stats here. Nice grab by Jameson Williams, even though it means absolutely nothing for us. Easy win by the Broncos there. And we're looking rough this year. Looks like we're headed for a top pick unless we can figure out something. Let's move on to next week. See who we have. 2-6 through the first 8 games. Not a good start. We got the Raiders next. They're 5-2. Let's see who's on their roster. At quarterback, we have Dan Marino, NFL MVP, 8-time All-Pro, and for what it's worth, I think he has the best delivery out of any quarterback ever. Threw such a pretty ball, looks so catchable, so many rotations on his spiral. Must have been great to be a receiver in his offense. Back shoulder throw, I think he may have invented the back shoulder throw being a thing. Dan Marino was so far ahead of his time in terms of his arm talent. Was such a great quarterback. Had maybe the worst help of any top quarterback ever, especially in terms of his defense. Had a couple great receivers, the Mark brothers, that helped him get so many yards and touchdowns. But Dan Marino is truly one of those sad stories in the NFL where he never really had a fair shake to win a bunch of championships, even though anyone who watched him play live or watched highlights can tell he was something different. I mean, look at the tight windows that he's fitting these balls into on a consistent basis. Also, one of the smartest plays in history. As time's running down, he hand motions like he's going to clock the ball, catches the defense off guard, and throws an absolute back shoulder dime to win the game. Dan Marino was so creative, such a great player, and at running back, he has a lot of help in modern-day great Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. Had such an amazing season last year, really bringing back that brand of football that seemed like it was dying, just wearing on the defense. And then once the second half hits, those 6 and 7 yard runs turn into plays like this. It's such a testament to how hard Jonathan Taylor runs and how strong he is that he literally has NFL players questioning if they really want to tackle him by the time it's the third and fourth quarter. It's no coincidence that a lot of his best runs are happening late into these games after carry of him just ducking his shoulder and giving everything he has to the defense. Eventually, they just start wearing down, and it's beautiful to see. I think his will is his number one strength, but he has incredible speed as well, a nasty stiff arm, and some good juke moves. He's going to be an all-time great, most likely, by the time his career is all said and done. They also have Jamal Lewis, a 2,000-yard rusher on the Ravens. At receiver, Torrey Holt, Keenan Allen, Roddy White. All three of those guys are route technicians. To be very careful in man coverage, especially with Dan Marino throwing the ball. At tight end, Mike Gesicki. And at left tackle, Tyron Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. A 4-time All-Pro, and I remember him coming out of college. There was worries that he was too small, weighing 285 pounds, but throughout the off-season process, people figured out that he looked like this at 285 pounds, and there was never another word that he was too small to be in the NFL. He's been such a great lineman for Dallas. He's had lots of injuries as well, but him at his best, just dominating defensive lineman, athletic enough to keep up with a running back and lead him 50 yards down the field. Tyron Smith is one of the most incredible athletes that the NFL has ever seen. So strong and such good technique. It's like he was built in a lab. Dallas offensive line with Zach Martin at right guard, Travis Frederick at center was incredible, and it led to DeMarco Murray and Zeke Elliott just having amazing seasons. Tyron Smith is a great weapon to protect Dan Marino. Can't believe I'm saying that. Richard Seymour, good defensive end. Fletcher Cox is a great player. Bill Romanowski, classic villain linebacker. Clay Matthews Jr., a great linebacker. Darrelle Talley of the Bills. And our receivers are going to be in for a tough night going up against Darrelle Revis of the New York Jets, the Bucs, and the Patriots. Or I should say one of my receivers is going to be in for a long night because Darrelle Revis usually would travel and cover the best receiver no matter where they went on the field. Don't think that means he wasn't a great tackler because he was more than willing. He would lay some big hits, especially in zone coverage, where he was really crafty at both tricking the quarterback and getting interceptions as well as setting the receivers up for huge hits. Real reason that he's in this league is because of his incredible man coverage skills. For a few year period, Darrelle Revis was far and away the best corner and defensive back and maybe even defensive player in the NFL. He had such great ball skills for a corner, routinely beating top receivers and snatching the ball away. And if you were going to play against him and take a play off, he's going to throw you on your back. He really went to war with every top receiver that he went against, and he made those matchups must-see television because he was really trying to completely erase them from the passing game as well as just bully them on the field. And the fact that he was successful at doing that against so many top NFL receivers is why he's regarded so highly in the debate of who's the best corner of all time. Darrelle Revis had a totally different style than Deion Sanders or Darrell Green. He didn't have that incredible makeup speed, but he had such great patience and anticipation. With Revis able to take out the top receivers in the NFL, he was a great chess piece for a defensive guru in Rex Ryan on the Jets. This was his best season in 2009. I mean, he's clamping everybody. Andre Johnson, all-pro player, 35 yards. Moss, 24 yards, one of the best receivers ever. Terrell Owens, another GOAT, 13 yards. Steve Smith, 1 catch for 5 yards, 2 picks against him. Roddy White, 2 catches, 16 yards, a great Pro Bowl player. Reggie Wayne, all-pro that year, 3 catches for 33. And then Chad Ochocinco, 0 yards in the playoffs. And after that all-time great performance in the season, he wanted to get paid. So the next season, he was looking for a new deal, wasn't reporting to training camp, and led to this amazing Jets Hard Knocks moment the following year.
Hey guys, we don't have Revis in this building right now. Does it matter that Revis is not here? God damn, he's pretty fucking good.
You know how good of a player you have to be to get a coach to admit something like that to the rest of the team? Revis was just that good, and Rex Ryan was just that funny. One of the consummate players, coaches in the NFL, and he had the Jets in a great spot. And here we go. In the first quarter, Jonathon Taylor breaks loose, big gain. We got to make sure that we try to hold him down as much as we can because Dan Marino, we don't want the run game to start working first. Marino's hit while he throws, and another interception by Isaiah Simmons, doing a great job covering the middle of the field this year. We are on offense. Jameson Williams is open across the field. Beautiful throw by Lawrence. That drive ends, though. Now it's back to Marino. And he hits Roddy White over the middle. Couple missed tackles. And Roddy White's in for the touchdown. Quick deficit, 7-0. Travis Etienne finds a crease on this play. Great run. Very nearly breaks a touchdown there. Going to Drake London in tight coverage, but he comes down with it. Great play by Drake London as time runs down in the second quarter. Within 2 minutes now on fourth down, we go for it. Great run by Etienne to get the first. Next play, we hit Jameson Williams, but he fumbles right on the one. Let's see if this was actually a fumble. The ball does look like it's loose right before the goal line. He's got to hang on to the ball there. Here they come back on us. And a beautiful throw by Marino. Of course, what else would you expect over Sauce Gardner? He's working us down the field here, but they ran out of time, thankfully. Second half. Going super long to Jameson, but it's intercepted. Jalen Petrie and Travis Etienne makes the tackle for us. Jonathon Taylor's been getting going on us, getting yards here and there, and he's starting to roll now. Great blocking on that play. Thankfully, I think there was a hold there. We'll have to see what the penalty is. Tyron Smith with the hold bails me out there. But here he goes again. We cannot stop Jonathon Taylor in this game at all. Big gain. First down on the next play. It doesn't even have to be. That looks like Jamal Lewis, who's another great running back, breaks a tackle and scores on the counter. Here we go, though. Move the ball nicely down the field. Heavy dosage of Travis Etienne. And we end up losing the ball in the fourth quarter. It's 14-7. And Jonathon Taylor makes it a 14-point game. We still got a little bit of time here, though. Going over the middle to Uzuma. A big grab. Second down. Going deep to Christian Watson this time. He hasn't gotten much time this year, but he's got height, weight, and speed. We could use him for sure. We get the 2-point conversion, so if we score a touchdown and get the extra point, we win it. Here we are, 3rd and 1 to ice the game. And Jonathon Taylor just gets the first down on us. We ran out of time. There goes Taylor again. And just to add insult to injury, a huge run to end the game. 59-yarder, and he disrespectfully jogs into the end zone. Another tough loss. This team was pretty good, though, I have to say. The combination of Marino, Jonathon Taylor, and Torrey Holt, Roddy White, pretty cool offense. Kellen Winslow as well. Oh, well, we're on to the next week. Another tough loss. That puts us at 2-7. We really got to turn this ship around if we're going to have any type of respect in this league. Up next, we have the Chiefs. They're led by Marshall Faulk. We'll see who else is on their team next episode. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and please like and subscribe to Smooth J Gaming.